Penguin cold caps here. We watched some videos online and they were pretty good, but I have some extra tips for you guys. So let's talk about it a little bit. So this cap just came out of the cooler. We'll get into how we stack the cooler a little bit later. You know, some tips and tricks is you want to probably have a pad down here for your knees. Have an extra towel around, and I don't have that today. So grab your thermometer. It usually comes with the kit. You want to also, I think this one's a 9-volt battery, make sure you have extra batteries. You check the temperature. Right now that's negative 37, 38 degrees Celsius, that is. Check over here, 21, 22. So what you're trying to do, I know the cold cap setup says between 23 and 25 degrees, I think. We're really kind of putting this on the head at about 34, 35 degrees.
What are you doing right now?
Right now I'm warming up the cap. So, you know, you can wear a long sleeve shirt. I gave my long sleeve shirt up to my my girl over here, and she's using that. But a long sleeve shirt helps to kind of warm it up because there's a good surface area in your arm. You don't want it to be too cold because that could also provide get them frostbite. So I'm checking it again. I'm about negative 27 right now, 28. So this is good. I'm ready to put the cap on. So I got the cap ready. I'm going to go into the cooler too. The bands are critical. So I got the bands in here on ice. So I'm going to pull really cold one out. I'm not even going to check that because the bands are always usually, you know, less temperature anyway. So they're always fairly good. All right, I'm prepping the cap. You want to make sure that you don't have any extra frost on here, because that frost can turn into water, and if it turns into water and heats up, it can also kind of, you know, give someone, you don't want them to get wet hair basically. So I don't need the gloves anymore, but you definitely want to use the gloves and go into the cooler. It comes with 3 straps. We really only we've used one. So we take the one strap off. I kind of just put it aside like that, and then I'm taking the band off. What we've done is we've used these little pads, and I'll get to that a little bit later, but we use these little pads to keep your ear from getting frostbite, because you want to cover up your skin. If your skin is not covered, you will get frostbite from this, and you definitely don't want that. So I kind of put this aside. Typically I just take them and fold the ears in, fold it up like that, so I've got a nice kind of clean thing. I put that aside, and then now I've got my cap that's going to go on. So I loosen the front and the back, and the key is you want to keep it cold underneath the head. Okay, so now I'm getting ready to do this, and you know, you see things where it's like, you know, do the chin strap first. You really don't even need the chin strap if your helper does it, right? So you take it off. As you notice, she's got a hairnet on. Highly recommend that. Also, this is moleskin on the front. I don't want to take too much time because the whole thing is to keep your head cool. And so what I do is she holds this down, so she's not even attaching it. And then what I do is I just attach the front and attach the front. Okay, and then I come from behind, and this is where, you know, I get up on the bed just to give myself a little, so you're not like jamming their head around. I'll squeeze that in because you want it to be close to the neck, and then I'll do that bottom one. Then I'll come over here, same thing. I'll squeeze that in and do the other bottom one. So now the 2 bottom ones are connected, and then I just kind of use pressure and push that one over, and use pressure and push that one over. So now the cold cap is on. As you can see, we didn't need this, but look at the gap you have here. You don't want that. And that's where this is a critical piece here, so it'll help you keep that hair from the side. So what you usually do is have you lift your head up. She's putting those little socks underneath her ears so she doesn't get frostbite. And those are just like cosmetic pads, right? Something like that. Lift your head up. And then what I do is you try to get it just to tighten that area up right there. Bring it in tight. And, you know, I'm doing this with a little force, as you can see. So you can see I've got that area covered. And then that's where this 3rd strap comes in. And what you want to do is just, if you put it along the back, you just want to follow the line of what you just put on there. And so you get it nice and tight. You just want that to, you know, create a nice tight seal around that area, or else you'll lose the hair in that area. So now the cap is on. I come over here, and, you know, I set up a bunch of alarms, but all you have to do, initially I set up like 50 alarms based on the Excel spreadsheet that they send over to you and tell you when to take caps out and takes caps in. So I just come over here and I set the alarm clock to about 27 minutes. That gives me enough time to kind of take one out, get ready for the next change out, which is right around 25 minutes is what you really want to do. So now I've got the cap, and let me show you a couple other things. So if you come over here, this is kind of our little kit that we have, just some recommendations. So moleskin, you picked that up at Amazon. We picked that up, and what we did is it just comes in a roll here. That's for the forehead, and then we just kind of created an initial template and then cut like 4 of these out. She has 4 treatments, and that sticks in the forehead, keeps the forehead. These things work pretty good. These multi-care, cosmetic removal things, that's for the ears or up in the temples. They say to use a comb. Well, she found this brush that kind of works like a comb, and it actually doesn't take out as much hair when that happens. So she got this brush. This is a Wet Brush Pro from Amazon, Epic Professional. And then we keep a little extra tape just in case, and always good to have extra batteries for the thermometer, because if that goes out for some reason, you want to have a backup there. So let's talk about packing the cooler up. So it's dry ice, and it will burn your hands if you don't have gloves on. And so it'll burn your hands if you have gloves on or don't have gloves on. Put a little pad there, and you typically, like I forgot my towels today, but you'll have a towel on the floor so you don't damage up the floor. And open up the cooler. You'll see how the Penguin cold cap system shows you how to pack it, and really labeling all the numbers and labeling it 1, 2, 3, 4. After I learned a little bit more, I didn't even fuss with that, because you don't need to do that. This was something like, I think we got some free food, or got some, like somebody sent some Godiva chocolate, so this is just like a Mylar blanket. The first time I just used a towel, so that's just to kind of keep the heat in. I've got the peas in here, and we use those for her hands to help with the cleaning neuropathy. So she's ready for a new set of peas, and put that there. And that kind of helps. I've heard that you're only supposed to use it like a half hour before chemo and a half hour after. There's all kinds of different things you can read about, but she's been doing it in the whole treatment here. So I just take a layer of ice out, and in order to remember where I was, and I get this one ready, and I find the bag that I had from the one that just came out, and I put it into a bag. Okay, this one was labeled, but I don't even pay attention to what number I have. And something you want to do is, especially in the front here, you'll notice like the gel has been kind of like lifted there, so you kind of want to massage it back in, because if you don't do it now and it freezes, you'll never get it in there, and you want it to be, the whole point is to get good coverage. So now that I got that bag ready to go back, this one's going to go in the bottom of the cooler. The next one I come to is the one I want to take out. So in order to remember, I just take it out of the bag and set it aside. I don't do anything with it right now. Got another layer of ice, as you can see here. I just take that out. Dry ice, set it aside. I got these big chunks, and if you just set it on, you can actually break it. So this is the coldest one right now. There's a layer of dry ice on the bottom, and what I've noticed with this carbon monoxide that's off-gassing, don't breathe that, because you're not supposed to breathe carbon monoxide. So now, this was the coldest one. And so now I'm going to take the one that just came off her head, and I'm going to put it in the bottom. Keep it in the bag.
What's in the bottom?
That's dry ice in the bottom. So it's facing the white side down to the dry ice. And you want to make sure that you get it down into the dry ice. So just kind of make sure it's all through there. First layer, blue side, so white side down. And now I take another layer of dry ice, put it in there. You want to work fairly fast, because, and then I take the one that I just took off the bottom, and it goes white side to the dry ice. And then I take the extra dry ice that I have for the top. I've got my other strap, which is somewhere, right there. This is the side that's really the cold side that I like, and I just like to put that in the dry ice. And then maybe I'll like flip this one over, because that just got put in there. And I'll flip this one over so it's nice and cold. And then throw my peas back in here to keep them cold. Throw this blanket back on, keep it nice and cold in there. I got about 50 to 60 pounds of dry ice. It seems that 50 to 60 pounds is the magic number, and if you have to go longer for some reason, 60 pounds is safer, and you definitely don't want to run out of ice during this process. So that's pretty much it. And then we're gonna actually, oh, sorry about that. Oh, this is the one that's going on next. Don't need my gloves on for that, but that's just gonna sit on the top. I mean, right now, this is my thermometer, probably wouldn't even read this. This goes to -50, and it's at -50 right now. It's off the chart. So that's kind of, yeah, and it's almost as hard as a rock. So, and that's where you want it to be. You want to check to see if there's any, like maybe some cool spots. So this one's about 21, 25. You might just want to throw some dry ice just in that little spot right there, you know, maybe in 10, 15 minutes to kind of cool it off a little bit. I close it up, and then when my timer goes off, I'll take that one out. It gives me a couple minutes to have it warm up a little bit, massage it, get it ready for the next cycle. And then we're actually going to be going home right now. So it's rush hour, and so we've got to figure out, basically, we've got to figure out where are we going to stop, because we're going to have to make a change on the road. And so pretty much that's it. But, you know, chemotherapy will end in like a few minutes here, like 30 more minutes. And then another 4 hours to 4.5 hours afterwards. You know, we just did the 4.5 hours just to, it can't hurt. And then, yeah, she's at her second cycle, keeping her hair, and thumbs up. All right, cool.